Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment. Hix Nix Stix Pix, a podcast about Robb's movies with your hosts, Robb Spewak and Josh Sroka. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let the show begin.
This is exciting. Oh, and by the way, I guess I should say Happy New Year, and you'll love this. It's no longer Hix Nix Stix Pix Crix Mix. It's done, because now it's Hix Nix Stix Pix 2026.
See,
isn't that terrific?
As you're setting it up, I'm like, where is he going with this? It doesn't rhyme with New Year's. And I was really afraid you were going to do, it's Welcome to 2020 Hicks.
No. Well, maybe we'll get there. I don't know. But right now we've got a whole year of Hix Nix Stix Pix 26. This week, Josh, you chose the movie. I'm excited to talk about it because
I'm sorry I forgot my gorilla costume.
Yeah, I have thoughts about that too. But the movie we're doing is Trading Places from 1983, a Paramount picture directed by John Landis, with Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ralph Bellamy, Don Amici, and Paul Gleason. So let us go ahead. Here is, I believe, our first clip. What?
A much better score.
Okay, so it's not trading spaces.
Look,
it's trading places.
I know SNL sucks,
right?
But there were times when it was good,
right?
And how great would a trade in spaces be with Dan Aykroyd and
Eddie Murphy
doing each other's rooms?
I'd be all over that. I think that would be
their
great.
Characters. It'd be wonderful.
Winthorpe and Valentine both doing it. Oh, I'd love it. I think that would be great. But I will say this. I do have to stop and pause. There's certain things, I talk an awful lot. And there's certain things I always have to stop in my head and make sure I say right. One of them is the band Swing Out Sister. Invariably, I will say Sing Out Swister. And one is here. I have to think, is this trading places or trading spaces?
Yes.
But just to help remember, let's take a look at Paige Davis and Workout Attire. There she is.
I just hope with this crew things don't spin out of control over the next
No.
few days. Oh my God.
See, that helps me remember.
Now, if a gorilla ran through the scene, maybe it'd be part
then
of
I'm watching.
Trading
Then
Places.
I'm watching. But we had a pretty lengthy discussion this week off mic about how I had a thing for Paige Davis because we watched, when Carrie and I first married, we watched Trading Spaces all the time.
And so did I.
And she was into the rooms and I was into the host. And I even for Christmas got a Trading Spaces t-shirt, one of the button-down
that's
shirts.
really cool.
Yeah.
The ones they'd give. Yeah.
Exactly. So
the homeowners could pretend they're actually doing the work while Ty does all the work.
So poor Ty Pennington. And Ty wasn't doing it either. It was his staff.
Yeah, of course. He
was
just a star.
And what did you say? That was before he was in the Hide the House show?
Yeah, the Move the Bus show.
Move the Bus show. That's what you called it. All right. So today we are talking about Trading Places. And
Traded Spaces could be its own podcast.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to. I truly didn't mean to do that.
I don't need more of Paige.
That was what I was saying. I'll save that for later. Now, you chose Trading Places. It came out. I was 12 when it came out. You were how old?
3. I think this was 83.
No sense you saw it in a theater.
I did not. No, I've never seen it before.
You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen it. I did a quick Google. You say I picked this. I did a Google search of movies for between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, you're right.
This one came up.
You're right. I guess we agreed on it. Yeah, you posed it, and I agreed to it. So there's no blame.
I told
to
you.
be had.
I always thought that this movie was coming to America.
Yeah, they're different, but they are connected, as we find out, which is funny. But this movie, I never saw in the theater. I don't think, but I did see it a few times on home box office because I had HBO back in the day before you had satellites. You could just get HBO.
And this would be the perfect movie to just be channel surfing and drop in at any point.
I agree. So let's cover the plot, if we may. And we have you're going to talk about the score. But there's no overture.
I'll tell you right now, the score is on my list of things that suck about this movie because the score at some points is so loud that you can't hear it overlaps where it's like, that'd be a great clip to pull for the show, but it's way too much music.
Yeah, and the other thing is that they use a lot of classical pieces.
Yes.
And because of that, it's cheap. It's a cheap score because you can license classical music for almost no. There are two great oldies in the show, in the movie, "Locomotion" by Little Eva, one of my favorites, and "Get a Job" by, I think, the Ad-Libs. But the thing, those back then, this is what, 42 years ago. Back then, it didn't cost anything to license old music either. This is a cheap score.
Well, that's why there's a Christmas party also. The music's cheap.
Yeah, Christmas music is cheap. All right, so we open on the streets of Philadelphia during the holiday season, and we hear classical music and see all the sights of the city of brotherly love, both rich and poor. And I don't know about you, Josh, but it was a wonderful reminder for me of how ugly that city is.
Oh, it was great. It's exactly the dirt that I think of as New York City, where everyone else thinks of
Philadelphia.
Oh, this is Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All right.
You see, Philadelphia I hate the most because of their sports fans.
Dirty also.
Very dirty. I think dirtier.
All those Northeast cities, Philly, Baltimore, New York, parts of New Jersey, because of movies, everyone thinks they're these big, beautiful, magical cities.
They are not.
They picture Rocky running up the stairs. They don't picture what it really is, especially in the wintertime, like this movie.
With the slushy gray snow. I invite anyone that is a glorious look in their head for Baltimore and Philadelphia, New York City. Take Amtrak one winter and look at what you pass through. And when you go through Philadelphia, there is actual sadness in the air. That's how ugly the town is.
And marrying someone from the South, we have this conversation where before I'll take her picture when I'm up there in the winter and be like, this is why everyone's grumpy and sad up north.
Exactly.
The weather sucks. It's always cloudy. It's always murky. And while you reminded me of it, different movie, but before New Year's, while we're in this still somewhat Christmas season, you need to watch Baltimoreans.
I do. You know what? I saw it on my feed, and I said, "Oh God, you recommended it."
I think it's on AMC Plus now.
Okay, I will take a peek.
Take a peek. It's worth it for anyone in that DMV area.
And you actually mentioned the Rocky running up. The Rocky statue makes a cameo in this, as does. This is weird. John Landis stuck in that montage a statue that is also featured in a shot in the Blues Brothers. It's a statue with a guy with his hand in his chin.
Okay.
And he's looking, it's just, I don't know. John Landis loves to interreference all his movies. That's just something I picked up on, but only because I've seen the Blues Brothers 1,000 times. Okay, so as we're looking at Philadelphia, we go to a very nice part of town. It does exist, and we meet Lewis Winthorpe III, which is hard because I'll think of saying Winthrop all day. Winthorpe III, he's extraordinarily rich. We see him leave his life of comfort and go to work in the investment house of Duke and Duke. Now, Duke and Duke are old man brothers in matching outfits, except one wears a bow tie, one wears a necktie.
They are great villains.
Oh, they are so great. And I mean, I'll get into this more later on, but do you know about the history of those two actors, Don Amici and Ralph Bellamy?
No, I know they're playing stereotypical super rich white guys, and they do it great.
You know, they go back to the 1930s in Hollywood. I think Don Amici made 50 movies. I think Ralph Bellamy made 99 movies.
Oh, is this their first color?
No, actually, they did go into the color era slightly.
Oh,
but,
I can think of another scene they probably brought along with them.
Yeah, I know. Little upsetting. Don Amici was effectively in retirement, hadn't made a movie or a TV appearance in like 10 years. And to track him down, John Landis, the director, actually found him in the phone book because he didn't have any representation. And because of this movie, he got to make Cocoon, which I believe he got an Oscar nom for. So Don Amici and Ralph Bellamy are both they're real Hollywood stars. But they're having an argument, the Duke brothers, about the eternal question of human nature, heredity versus environment. Do you become the person you are because of the way you were raised or because of the way you were born? Well, they're arguing about this. It's a big deal. Meanwhile, in the park, we also meet Billy Ray Valentine, who is played by Eddie Murphy, pretending to be a homeless, legless.
He's got no legs.
Homeless, legless, blind Vietnam vet. And he gets busted by the cops.
Cool, and cops
I was in Sang Bang, Dangang. I was all over that place, basically, a lot of places.
What unit were you in?
I was with the Green Beret, Special Unit Battalion's Commando Airborne Tactics.
They are so patient with him.
They are.
Battalion.
It's great.
Yeah, it was real hush-hush. I was Agent Orange. That was my name, Agent Orange.
He's
Special
moving his
Agent
head like
Orange.
his
That was
Stevie
me.
Wonder impression,
Yes.
too. Pick him up.
Slowly drops his legs.
Yeah, you can see that he has legs.
I can see. I can see. I have legs. Oh shit! Look at this, man. I can walk. Jesus, praise Jesus.
It's great. The cops are so patient. You know they've dealt with him before.
Yeah, and you love a rave out comedy scene like that is made funnier when someone who is totally calm watches it, and
you
that's
let
what
it
makes
play.
it great. It's so good. Also, that is the first example. Now, we all loved Eddie in 48 Hours, and that was his star-making vehicle, his first movie. This is only his second movie, and he shows so much more comedic finesse in this. Like, I mean, he's a genuinely funny guy. He can talk and make me laugh. But when the gags are going like that, that is sort of a gag that involves some investment of his acting and skills, he's great. I mean, truly, truly a movie star. So while he's escaping
I also
from the
enjoy
cops,
that the Stevie Wonder head nod was a joke back then.
Yeah, it was
25 years ago.
It
or
really
40
was.
years ago.
And I don't think it does, because I think they've revealed now Stevie Wonder can see, right? Isn't that the deal?
I believe the story is he can see a little bit now.
Oh, okay. Well,
You know, like if you drop a microphone stand, he can see it swing and grab it real quick.
I'm so glad he's better. So
Red
while
light therapy.
the cops are chasing Valentine, he bumps into Winthorpe, and Winthorpe drops his briefcase, which is full of all the payroll checks. Valentine picks it up to return it, but because Winthorpe is such a tight-assed white guy, he knows he's being robbed, and he screams he's being robbed. In fact, nothing could be further from the truth. And they chase him around, and a chase ensues into this fancy gentleman's club. Not a gentleman's club like Good Guys, mind you, but a businessman's club, I suppose. A men's club.
Like a country club,
Exactly.
but in the city.
And Valentine ends up in jail, which is another great scene when he protects himself in jail by claiming he is a big, tough guy that is a master of kung fu.
I love that instantly you learn Valentine's a good guy.
Yeah, he really is. And he doesn't want any trouble, but he is making a great scene against some unsavory characters in jail. But then he makes bail. He doesn't know why, but he leaves the jail. Turns out the bail was posted by the old men, Duke and Duke. They want to use him in their mankind experiment. And that is basically, you know, when they're talking about heredity versus environment, can you make a bum into a businessman and make an upper crust professional turn to a life of crime? That's their bet. And they said it's the standard amount we always bet. You have to assume it's a huge amount of money because they're so rich. They lure Valentine into their limousine, but with one of Mike O'Mara's all-time favorite movie lines, when he's a little hesitant and one of the old men holds up a bottle and says, "Whiskey, all you want." And that's really what gets him in there. And he goes in, and when he's sitting with them and they're talking that he's going to have an amazing career just by random selection, he's still holding the liquor and stealing cigars by the handful because he does not trust them. But they do hire Valentine at a salary of $80,000 a year. I did a little research. That's like today getting hired for about $270,000 to $280,000 a year.
Yeah, that sounds
so that's
about
a
right.
good salary. And they give him a car. And they give him a butler. And so he's living the high life. You know, it's really a great day for Billy Ray Valentine.
This is when they're showing off classic 80s, like just explosiveness of riches. And like the fur coats, the limos, the cigars, the just
what
people
about
all around.
The monochrome computer monitors in the limo with that black and green lettering? You know, it's black screen, which is it's just, that's the most modern thing in the world, right?
Right.
So in the meantime, it has been announced that at that gentleman's club, again, not a strip club, but a men's club, there has been a robbery. And a private eye named Beekman, who was played by Paul Gleason before he was in The Breakfast Club, which is, he's such a good actor at being a dick, sets up Winthorpe and arrests him for stealing like $250. At his booking, Winthorpe is abused, made to disrobe, and finds that PCP has been planted on him.
Yeah, I was going to say, plus drugs.
Yeah. And also, you know, PCP, I guess it's still a thing, but it was definitely a more relevant drug in 1983. I guess you hear about it, but there's no PSAs about it anymore.
No, there are not.
but a great running joke where everyone says he has heroin, and he says like, no, no, it was only PCP. That's it.
They caught him through the money with the red X on it, as if no one would see a giant red X.
So bad. So while he's being processed at the jail, and also the guy that's going through all of his belongings is Frank Oz, who was, of course, Miss Piggy, but a friend of John Landis. He plays an identical role in the Blues Brothers. When Jake Blues, John Belushi, gets out of jail, he's the guy at the prison that's going through his belongings. So it's a definite deja vu of that. Valentine is now so rich, he does what I think many people would do. He goes to a bar, throws some cash around, and invites everyone back to his mansion for a freeloaders party. And he sees what they're doing. He doesn't intend it to be a freeloaders party, but he sees that it is. And a moment of good character, Valentine throws everyone out and like is mad that they were abusing his house. So again, he's now the rich guy. He's a good guy now.
Now he sees, oh, well, this is trash.
Right, exactly. So the next day, Winthorpe does get out of jail, but thanks to Beekman, he's immediately approached by a hooker named Ophelia, Jamie Lee Curtis, who Beekman bribed to make Winthorpe appear to be her PCP dealer, and that just outrages his wife, and she deserts him. Not wife, I'm sorry, fiance. So Ophelia tries to help him out, but he finds out he's been fired. His assets have been seized. The IRS has frozen all of his money, and he gets to his home, and the butler Coleman claims not to recognize him because now the house belongs to Eddie Murphy, Billy Ray Valentine. So he is, as the sports junkies would say, he is distraught. He is very unhappy. Yes. So Ophelia says she'll help him for a price because she just wants the money to stop being a prostitute. And that makes sense. And as they're talking, he sees Valentine go by in his Rolls Royce. And he says, oh my God, I'm starting to put this together, what must have happened. So Winthorpe moves in with Ophelia. And there's a great scene where Valentine goes into Duke and Duke, and they're explaining to him how things like pork futures work. And the one, if I had to pick one favorite moment in the movie, is when they said, let's say you're going to want a BLT. You're going to want bacon. And Eddie Murphy just does a momentary deadpan look at the camera to let us know, oh my God, they think I'm a moron. But it's just, again, that is such subtlety that I don't think he would have tried to pull in 48 hours. This is him maturing as a comic actor. It's so great. And they even test him by leaving the Duke brothers. And when I say the Duke brothers are the Duke boys, I tend to think of the Dukes of Hazzard. No relation.
Yeah. Well, it's the one brother. The one brother wants him to fail.
Exactly.
So he leaves his money clip behind.
And and Billy Ray returns it. Perfect. He passes the test perfectly. Meanwhile, Winthorpe goes to his old rich friends to look for money, and they shut him down. They say it's not classy to ask for money, not if you're selling PCP. So he goes to a pawn shop, to what has to be Mike's favorite scene, where he tries to pawn a watch and gets like $50 for a $4,000 watch. And he also uses the money to buy a gun. Now, after walking in the streets in the rain, he sees Valentine at an elegant dinner with the Dukes. He's miserable. He catches cold. Ophelia takes care of him. And I think that's when their relationship moves from total business relationship, Ophelia and Winthorpe. They start to fall in love. There's some affection there.
She feels bad for him.
Right. Later at the Duke and Duke office Christmas party, Billy Ray finds a mysterious payroll check made out to Beeks. Aha, that's the private investigator. But before he can investigate, Winthorpe, in the most disgusting Santa suit in the history of Santa suits, breaks in to the party.
Oh, I haven't done any research, but I 100% believe that Aykroyd in the Santa suit in this scene is the whole basis of Bad Santa.
It very well could be. And just different things like
he's
filling his pockets with food from the buffet, and he looks, the beard isn't even white anymore. It's just like dark gray.
Oh, and later he's on the train eating that food and pulling it out of his suit. He pulls
a side of salmon.
Yes.
And it's got beard hair in it. That's Aykroyd at his best, because that could just be a gross out scene, but he makes it very funny the way he plays it. But he tries to plant more drugs, this time in Valentine's office, and he goes all out. I believe he says those are marijuana joints and Quaalude and all these big time drugs. But of course, he gets caught. They don't think Billy Ray is guilty. Aykroyd pulls a gun and escapes. He has a botched suicide attempt, which is very funny with the gun. Yes. He tries to shoot himself, not loaded, but it turns out it is loaded. Then he takes a handful of pills, and he's discovered in the apartment by Ophelia. They're able to revive him. And at that time, Billy Ray makes contact with him because back at the party, Billy Ray overheard the Dukes discussing the original bet, which was for $1, which is very frustrating. And they reveal themselves to be not only dishonest, but also incredibly racist. And to me, that to this day is a shocking scene. You don't see that coming in that amount because of the word they use. They use the N word.
Yes.
And I know this is some time ago, but it was never okay to use the word. And it is sort of out of left field as a character enhancement of the Duke brothers. That they, this is to a point racially motivated, and it makes them even darker as characters. That I truly did not expect that.
Yeah,
and it threw me.
Yeah, to me it fit because it's like it's what those old white guys would say. It's it's unfortunate, but it is what like I'd hear grandparents say.
It really does seal the fact that they're bad people, and I think it is a valuable. It is something. It's not valuable, but it's a tool that can be used to underscore how important or how dire a situation is. And I think that using it is very effective in the film, although I don't like hearing it. But he lets, since Valentine overheard all this stuff, he goes and tells Winthorpe and Ophelia the entire plan. Also, Coleman, the butler, is now in on it too. And they find out the thing, they don't want to get revenge by like shooting them. They want to get revenge by making the Duke brothers poor. Right. That's what they can't stand. So they find out that Beeks, his secret job for the firm was getting an illegally leaked copy of the Department of Agriculture's report on orange juice futures. Now, I remember watching this plot when I was little and thinking, of course, orange juice futures.
Right.
But if you compare like oranges to wheat and beef and pork, it's silly. It's a silly thing to corner the market.
It's hilarious.
I love it.
It is classic what I know from Aykroyd.
Yeah.
To lean into something like that is how I felt with that.
A huge plot point. So they find out that Beeks is going to bring the leaked report to New York via train. Now, I love movies on trains. I think trains are very cinematic. People are all stuck together. Lots of things can happen on trains, and I like a train scene. But when they're on the train, they figure out that also Beeks is on the train, the four protagonists are on the train, and there's a New Year's costume party, and they're transporting a gorilla.
And that's when we get to see John Belushi.
Well, Jim Belushi.
Or Jim Belushi. Jim Belushi.
Exactly. Which was sort of stunt casting at the time. He wasn't on Saturday Night Live yet, I don't think. But it's a little over the top, but there's lots of things going on. I mentioned the song earlier. They're dancing at the party to this song, which is one of my all-time favorites. Did you know The Locomotion is the only record by 3 different artists to chart in 3 different decades? The original?
Did not.
It's so cool. The original by Little Eva in the 1960s, Grand Funk in the 70s, and Kylie Minogue had a #1 hit in the 1980s. Just love my
somehow no one could put it together in the 90s or the 2000s.
I think it should go, Josh, maybe next week, you and I, we can do it.
I'll get in that AI music and work on it.
And the other thing I love on a train movie is always the sound of them going by a crossing and the Doppler effect, and it goes, ning, 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 ning. If you're ever at a restaurant and you have a hanging lamp in front of you, hit it so it's like swinging and make that train sound, and it's like being on a train. Impress your friends. So
no thanks.
What they have to do is they need to swap out fake orange juice information with real orange juice information. And they do it. And Eddie Murphy pretends to be from Cameroon with my favorite scene in the movie.
Merry New Year!
Happy New Year. In this country, we say Happy New Year.
Thank you for correcting my English, which stinks. I am Nanja Ibuko, exchange student from Cameroon. Ha 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 ha! Happy New Year!
So great. I think he kind of revisits that character briefly in Beverly Hills Cop when he says he's Johnny Wishbone.
Yeah,
it's just a throwaway, but it's
kind of his go-to undercover.
Yeah, but it's
role.
Great. So all the gang is in disguise. They were able to swap out the briefcase. Beaks finds them out, but they overpower him and they dress him in a gorilla suit and put him. Remember the gorilla they're transporting? They stole the gorilla suit from Jim Belushi and put him in the cage with the other gorilla. This is discovered by two baggage handlers.
Yes? This only works because the real gorilla is a costume that's really bad.
It is not good. Hollywood has never done well. Hollywood has never done well with gorilla suits. Groucho Marx tells a story that it was easy to find someone to play a gorilla, but it was hard to rent the gorilla suit. And that sometimes gorilla suits had like their own contract because they're just hard to do. And it's a horrible gorilla.
Yeah.
Paul Gleason in the gorilla outfit is even worse. And they're discovered by two dim-witted luggage handlers played by Tom Davis and Al Franken. And what happens next is arguably the only time in Hollywood history a U.S. senator has witnessed gorilla rape.
I did not realize that was Al Franken until you just mentioned it. And then I was like, oh, it is.
He was his writing. Franken and Davis were writing partners at Saturday Night Live. And that's where Aykroyd knew them. The roles of the baggage handlers were supposed to be played by Bob and Doug McKenzie. Not as Bob and Doug McKenzie, but Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas. But they couldn't do it. So Aykroyd knew them from Saturday Night Live. And yes, of course, that's the only member of this cast that went on to be senator. They swap out the fake information and they go with Duke and Duke to meet in New York to ruin the OJ scam. And Winthorpe and Valentine head to Wall Street to really provide one of the great switcheroos of all time. And we do have a clip right here.
Think big. Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem. Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Right. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
Yeah, but we gotta kill him, motherfucker! We gotta kill him!
That is a great rant ruined by the music being too loud.
Precisely. And again, classical music. Nothing they paid much licensing for. No. They just put it in there. And you're right.
It was not needed.
Did you stream it on Paramount? I'm curious how you watched it.
I streamed it on Paramount. Yes.
Yeah, I did too. And I was curious if the sound mix was as bad as it came across.
I don't know.
And when I went and watched it on YouTube to get clips.
Yeah, you know what? It was right there. Because that was pre-show. I was telling you, I don't remember what the scene was. Mm-hmm. And you had it right there. That's the scene that was ruined because it was a great rant.
It is a great rant.
And the music's too loud.
Now, because of the proper orange juice information, the good guys corner the market on a buy low, sell high, short sale. And to this day, I don't understand exactly how that worked.
That's in my notes of things I don't like.
So they make all the money. The gorillas are left in the cage and shipped to Africa for a life of love, I guess. The Dukes brothers are penniless because they were called upon for $349 million in cash, which is closer to $1 billion in today's money. And Winthorpe and Billy Ray make millions for themselves, and Coleman and Ophelia, and all retire to a tropical paradise. And we close with the song Get a Job. That, my friends, is Trading Places. I liked it, but I will say this. I didn't like it quite as much as I thought I would.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay, cool.
I think I have found that these 80s comedies that I missed over the years are some of my favorite to go back and find. All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will discuss this, and maybe you can move up my rating on this, but we'll see. We're talking trading places, not trading spaces. And no, I'm not going to show Paige Davis again. You dirty people. Do it on your own time.
Trading Places right here on Hix Nix Stix Pix. And we're back. Hix Nix Stix Pix 26. Robb Spiewak with Josh Sroka. And I really don't need to say that because it's not like people are joining us midstream.
No. They
Sorry.
just got back from the Momentous ad or whatever.
Buy Momentous.
Whoever's in there.
I use Momentous all the time. All right, so you said you had never seen this movie. It's from 1983, and this was your first time watching it. Early 80s movie, and there's several things in it that are they ring very, very true for the 1980s. What did you love about this movie?
I loved the feel. I love that these 80s comedies, everything's in excess. There's no middle ground. There's no, they push all the way to the extreme. So I love the whole setup of we're going to destroy this person's life and we can teach this guy to be a professional trader in one day.
Exactly. And he's really just going with his gut.
Yes.
I mean, he really is talking about, with pork bellies, he's talking about the way people feel about bacon at the end of the day, which is really not solid financial advice, but it works out.
I love that the entire bet is for $1.
That to me is the most frustrating thing in the movie.
It's because money is meaningless to them.
You're right.
At this
exactly
point.
right.
So whether it's $1 or $1 million, it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt them.
If you made a bet with my good friend Matt Sroka, would it be for $1?
Oh, we bet all the time, but there's never stakes.
You just like a gentleman's bet, as they say.
Yeah, it's just a gentleman's bet all the time. So
okay.
We used to do DraftKings or one of those used to allow you to do head to head against a friend.
Oh, right.
So we would do that on Sundays against each other, but we would do the bare minimum, which was like $2.
Now, how did you feel about the plot device of people swapping out identities, essentially?
I love it because it has that 80s movie of extremes. We've seen lots of movies where people switch places over the years.
Right.
You could not remake this movie.
Right.
Because there's so much stuff in here that just people frown upon today.
Now, I do have a question for you. Did you know that the notion of this movie goes way, 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 way back to the 1930s? And
no, but it's no surprise.
I'd like to play you 2 clips from The Three Stooges. This is from a Three Stooges short called Hoi Polloi. This is the first scene from this short. It was made in 1935, 90 years ago.
I reiterate that environment is the keynote of social distinction.
Nonsense. Heredity is the backbone of social life.
I say environment.
Bah, heredity.
So it's the same argument.
Same argument. 1947, The Three Stooges.
Yes.
I say environment.
Heredity. Heredity is the very foundation of social distinction.
They're both great shorts. Sadly, Hoi Polloi is better because Half-Wits Holiday was Curly's last short, and he had a stroke. Sad. But all this stuff goes way back, and this is essentially, I know you give me grief for liking old movies. This is just an 80s take on what was in the 30s called a screwball comedy.
Yeah, totally.
Where a decent guy has bad things happen to him. They make fun of the rich. They make fun of society. It was born out of the Great Depression when people, they hated the rich.
Right.
So they would make movies to make fun of them. Now, we don't have that Great Depression sort of outlook in the 80s, but I think there was the excess, the Gordon Gekko-ness of it, and it is sort of a lash out to the overly rich of the 80s.
And it's an established comedic team that's building this based off that foundation. They know that. They know exactly where it's coming from.
And I know they say there are no new ideas, but I wanted to make people know that this exact idea, but it works also in the modern setting too.
Yeah, they just went and ran with it.
Exactly. You could also say the same thing about Pygmalion, My Fair Lady, and to a certain extent, Josh, I'll go biblical, the Book of Job, where he is treated so badly, but he remains, faithful. I know it's a bit of a stretch.
Yes, keep stretching.
But I do love, Job's a great story. Maybe that's why they end the movie with the song Get a Job. I don't know. No, it's not it. All right. No. What else struck you about this movie as delightful?
I love the exchange floor. I love that there's no computers, that it's people with writing tickets down and buy, sell, pass in. And it's what we envision because I don't know, the stock floor today sucks. And I know they show on there and they ring the bell and they do all this. But it's all done by computers. It's none of this passing notes around and arguing. And
it's not the mythos that lives in your head. I remember I talked to a friend that works for the New York Times, in the podcasting division. And I said, now, when you go to the New York Times, is it like a huge room with typewriters and smoke and black and white? That's what I picture when I think of a newsroom.
But no, sucks. It's like any other office building.
I'm sure most of the people are at home.
Yeah,
they're not going into New York to write their news stories. So yeah, I like the fact that it appears to be, at least in my my sort of an analysis of it, an accurate capture of a 1980s stock floor. And all the things about the 80s are so well captured. You mentioned the technology before, but also it's before there were considerable efforts to clean up big cities, or at least areas of big cities. Philadelphia is so gritty. Philadelphia is almost a character in this movie. It is so disgusting.
It is. I love the train car and all the stupid costumes that they're in, which are clearly all fake. Now, unfortunately, there's the blackface. And it is unfortunate that this is now the third time we've had to deal with blackface on this podcast.
I understand. It is never okay, folks. But it's not okay.
But besides that, I like these stereotypes, comedian, of they're coming in, they're playing what they think the stereotype is in a bad acting scene, and it works.
I love the Austrian character that Jamie Lee Curtis plays.
Yes.
Can you help me with my rucksack?
Right, needs help with the bags.
Exactly, which is, it's all very well planned. And the Irish cop, or the Irish priest that drinks. I mean, these are all classic comedic
Merry
stereotypes.
New Year sets that off perfectly.
Oh, it's so good. And how many times have you said Merry New Year? I've said it a few times based on that scene alone.
And then I love the gorillas. I do love the gorilla play.
Okay. I gotta talk to you about this.
Yes.
The very fact that they are on a train to New York and have to pull a switch, that's a decent plot device. Again, I love train movies. Ning, 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 ning. But having a costume party and a live gorilla, that's asking a lot from something that was not over the top in the movie. The first two acts of the movie.
That's why I love it.
You love that it just totally throws everything to the wind.
I love it because I saw on the pre-roll credits at the very beginning of the movie, it said Jim Belushi. And I said, oh, well, that'll be fun. And then I'm waiting, and he doesn't show up until he shows up with this gorilla costume.
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, that'll be fun. And it goes back to what I love about these 80s comedies where there's no middle ground. They go to the extreme. That's how I see this part.
There's something about an 80s comedy that I think for all intents and purposes has stopped. And I'm curious your take on it. And that is the gratuitous nudity in this movie. Yes. There are 3 or 4 scenes of ladies. Yeah. And they are not
Jamie
needed
Lee
at all.
Movies like that.
What's that?
I didn't know Jamie Lee had any scenes like that.
Oh, yeah. This was sort of a big deal, putting her career forward. But the scene, there's a girl in the bedroom when Eddie goes to his party. There's a girl at the party. There's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Because it's not shocking anymore.
I guess, but they could have easily done those scenes without that gratuitous nudity.
No, they do it in there because you don't expect it.
But if you could clean it up, this is what I think has changed. If you could clean that up and maybe have them in negligees or something. I know you tend to refer to the woman in the bra in Psycho. They could have played it like that and mind the language. Then you get a PG movie instead of a hard R, and you've got more business. So I'm wondering if the 80s had a different sort of business mindset.
No, because you would not. Yes, because there was no PG-13.
Ah, perfect. You make sense. Yeah.
Why it is. That's why 80s comedies are all that way, where movies I've seen as kids, I'm like, oh, that was R, but I saw it on TV because they just cut out the one scene with the girl.
Exactly. The Jamie Lee Curtis is one of the ones who gives it its hard R rating. She is so appealing in this movie, and it's great. She starts out very hard-boiled and almost abrasive when she is part of the scam to get Winthorpe broken up with his fiance. But when she takes off her wig and we see Jamie Lee Curtis as Jamie Lee Curtis, that's a great moment because she stops being sort of just the prototypical prostitute, and she's a real person. And moreover, later on in the movie, when she's in jeans and a sweater and she's not, you'll pardon the expression, whored up, she's very appealing and a great leading lady. And that would have been really easy to not pull off, considering how her character is introduced. I think she might have Eddie Murphy is sensational, but I think Jamie Lee has probably got the best performance in the picture because she makes the most of a transition.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because the last thing on my list of things I love about this movie is Dan Aykroyd plays the perfect drunk, going crazy person.
He does. He's very good. He is. But we don't get to see acting chops as much as comedy chops there, I think.
It is, but that scene on the train where he's eating the fish out of his Santa beard, could you imagine just being the person sitting on that train just staring across?
Smoked salmon with polyester beard hair in it.
And we know it's salmon. Those people on the train do not.
I'm guessing from the smell they probably do.
Well, maybe. I guess the smell would give it away. But it's such a great scene.
It really is.
And the him digging through the desk as he still thinks the one guy is screwed up his whole life. He's great.
He is great. I mean, there's really not a bad performance in it, to be perfectly honest. They're all very, very good. Do you think in the plot arc that they fell in love, Ophelia and Winthorpe, do you think they fell in love too fast? I mean, it's obvious from square one it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think they needed to put in a couple more throwaway scenes.
Yeah, it was just suddenly they're together.
Yeah, it went from I'm not going to, I'm going to make you sleep on the couch to I'm taking my shirt off, I'm going to lay with you in bed because you have a fever. It seemed like a pretty big jump.
Yeah, I don't know.
But people aren't in this for the subtle plot
I haven't
details.
had a fever this year, so I don't know.
Well, if it rains, go run around in it. I have to know, do you have things that you don't like about it?
Yeah, I don't like the blackface. We'll just put that out there.
I think I can concur with that. Yeah,
but I do love the scene. I don't like the poor to rich. I don't know, because I go back and forth that I like the stereotypes, but I don't like how they're just send him, kick him out, and how they get rid of him.
The trope is of the poor to rich, rich to poor is awfully fast. But then again, we're looking at a movie here. I think I actually wrote the length down. It was like an hour 50, I think. If you can tell from my tedious, and they're always tedious, plot summation at the front of this podcast, there's a lot going on in this movie that happens in an hour 50.
We don't see Winthorpe lose his fiance.
Right. Exactly. It's just done. Yeah, it's just done.
She only's with him for the money. And that's we're just assume all that.
And also it's sort of glazed over the fact that the fiance is the niece of the Duke brothers.
Yes.
So and that could have been an interesting complication that they don't explore at all.
Right. But Winthorpe has something going on too in his life, because you're not just a loser that comes up with the name Winthorpe III.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he is beloved by the company. He's very, very good. Yes. But that's what makes the experiment, I guess, sort of it means what it does. Yeah.
That's the tough part, because they could have done a better job storytelling with that, but I also love that scene. Last thing is my favorite scene on the stock market floor at the end makes no sense whatsoever. I understand how margins work. So because margins and it went down, they got to buy. I don't know how Dan Aykroyd got all the money.
Well, he had a couple thousand from Jamie Lee Curtis, from Ophelia.
So he bought some in,
and
then
he had some money. Yeah, and that's how he did it. But you're right. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
I have a vague understanding of the stock market. I couldn't do what they do, but it happened so fast. In my head, I'm guessing that John Landis said, this is too complicated to fully explain, so let's just go with it and make it loud and fast and a victory.
Exactly. It still works.
And if you don't think about it, it works. One thing I do like about John Landis is he loves to have his little Landis-averse, as the kids would say, the Landis universe. Like the number that Aykroyd had when he was admitted into jail, it's the same number that John Belushi had in the Blues Brothers. He does a lot of these crossover allusions, but the best one, and you talked about it earlier, in Coming to America, Ralph Bellamy and Don Amici appear again as the Duke brothers, homeless. And Prince Hakeem gives them money to get started again. And I believe the line is something like, Randolph, we're back in business. And it's just a throwaway that means nothing if you haven't seen this. But John Landis is a really fine comedy director. I know he's made some missteps with, say, I'll just say it, helicopter accidents on the Twilight Zone tend to haunt him. But some of the comedies he has made and his work with Murphy is really, really strong. I also like the fact that when you look at the screen, you're seeing between Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy about 10 years of Saturday Night Live history. You know, it's fun to see them up there together. I love it. Other than that, the one thing I did want to say, and this is funny, is that in 2010, the Wall Street Transparency and Accountability Act was passed. So this is 15 years ago.
Right.
But it was to regulate financial markets, and there was a rule that included that barred anyone from using secret inside information to corner the markets, which is exactly what happens in this movie. So Wall Street traders always refer to it as the Eddie Murphy rule. So this movie actually inspired government regulation. I think that's pretty cool.
That's fun, but calling it the Eddie Murphy rule is stupid. It should be called like the orange juice rule or something.
The Duke Brothers rule?
Yeah, the orange juice concentrate rule.
Okay, well, either way, I just thought that was neat. Also, every year since 1997, Italian television shows this movie on Christmas Eve, and it usually gets more than a 10% share of the viewing. It's a Christmas tradition in Italy.
It's their version of A Christmas Story.
Yeah, or It's a Wonderful Life. So this begs the question, how many dirty hair-covered, out of a possible 10, how many dirty hair-covered hunks of salmon do you give this movie?
I'm giving this a 7. I really did enjoy this.
Okay. I will also give it a 7, and I'll say because whatever points it loses for being dated, it gains points from capturing that era so well.
Yeah,
I think it really, really does. And you know what? I don't think they set out to do like a historical capture of an era. They were just so in the thick of 80s glamour and greed and all that. It really worked. All right. You know what? I started the music too early because we have an envelope to open.
All right.
And this is, again, Hix Nix Stix Pix 26. And you have no idea what it's going to be.
No, I have no idea.
It has nothing to do with the holidays.
All right. Yeah, we're in, I guess this will be a January.
Yeah. I know you like to take the 6th off, but.
And look, everyone said we wouldn't make it to 2026.
Yeah, well, screw you. We'll trade places with you any day. All right? The movie for our next episode is, not only is it black and white, it's one of the most black and white movies ever made. However, very brief and very good movie. I think you will like, from 1941, The Maltese Falcon, directed by John Huston, Warner Brothers Motion Pictures, with Humphrey Bogart, Mary Astor, Peter Lorre, and Sidney Greenstreet.
And the Maltese Falcon is known for having that, like the gimmick in it, right?
What gimmick?
Like something that you're supposed to follow like throughout the movie or something. No. I thought the Maltese Falcon was like inspired a bunch of other things.
Well, it did, but it doesn't. I have the Falcon here. This is a small Falcon. I have a larger one as well. It is, we'll discuss it next week. It's technically a dingus, Josh.
All right.
Now, I invite everyone to watch The Maltese Falcon, 1941, before our next episode so you can play along.
The MacGuffin is what I was trying to think of.
That's exactly right. So,
that's from this movie, right?
The dingus is a MacGuffin. Precisely. Okay. And so watch this movie. There's a lot of twists and turns, and you will be you'll feel alienated if you don't look at it before you watch it. So we will do it next week. And you know what? Let's not close with The Marriage of Figaro. Let's close with Little Eva. Thank you so much for listening. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
We appreciate you listening to Hix Nix Stix Pix 26, and we will see you next week. I'm Robb Spiewak.
I'm Josh Soroka.
Talk to you next time. So long, folk.
Hix Nix Stix Pix, a podcast about Robb's movies with Robb Spiewak and Josh Soroka.